You're listening to a DM podcast.
You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
All right.
Buddy Betoota, Buddy Weekly, how you going, fellas? My name's Clancy Overell.
My name's Wendell Hussey.
And I'm Effie Bateman.
Well, that's bloody how the world's going.
Everybody he identifies Effie Bateman, do you today? Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been reading the Sydney Morning Herald, aka the Sydney Elite Private School Newsletter.
Yes.
Apparently there's a bit of the school council at one of those schools has come up with a cunning ruse of allowing females within the school gates. Jeez. Big problems down there in the steak and kidney, aren't there?
You would have thought that maybe there was a historic, pedophile sex crime thing going on there, but no, not that kind of outrage. We've seen, this is maybe one of the biggest stories to come out of this elite system in a long time. The fact that it's made news in Queensland is hilarious, and we at the Betoota Advocate have decided to conscientiously object.
I like that it's made news in Melbourne as well, and they're pretending like they, didn't spend 2 weeks talking about a haircut at one of those types of schools back in the day.
Back in the day, look, I think there's calls for these types of schools to be banned. I think once you start banning certain types of schools, Wendell Hussey, it's a bit of a slippery slope. I mean, sure, you do send your son or your daughter off to these schools and they come out the other side a cunt, invariably, but I think society does need people like that.
It takes all types, doesn't it?
You need the Downer dynasty, right? You need those kind of people.
Look, Australia is a rich tapestry of people like Alexander Downer and Malcolm Turnbull and Tony Abbott, all the way down to other Melbourneites like Stephen Irwin and Peter Brock.
Jeff Kennett.
Jeff Kennett
would not like this move, that's for sure.
What I will say is that these schools should be made to give half of their training ovals to the state, who build medium to high density housing on it, and the same with all private golf courses. But that's probably a bit too radical for those Sydney types.
I've scrolled down about 10 pages through Wikipedia, and I've found the notable alumni of Newington College.
Old Newingtonians.
Yeah, and it is just littered with all those
of Tongan nobles
fucking 3-letter things: MLAs, OBEs, MLCs, lots of honourables, AMs, OAMs.
Go to the criminal page. Who are the crime people?
The criminal page?
They'll have it.
The PNG Prime Minister, Sir Peter Bartell, he'd be up to his fucking neck in crime, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Fuck, they've got quite a list here. No wonder they don't want to let Sheila's in to dilute this.
I'm sure this is very entertaining for all of our readers and listeners all over the country, but look, fuck me, they've had a lot of rugby union players. Look at that. Jesus.
Well, that adds up.
Rowers, rugby league players.
Sailing.
They would have had some Sydney Swans too, probably.
Oh, Neil Perry, the ponytail.
The ponytail who hates gas.
I'm bored of this. We should get into the biggest news stories of the week. That is one of them, but we, as I said, conscientiously object to following the Sydney Morning Herald model of just writing about
schools that all those fucking journalists went to. Anyway.
Yeah, changes to the prefect structure. All
Yeah.
that shit. Boring.
Let's take it out of that light rail echo chamber that the Australian media tends to live in, and let's go to Alice Springs. What was the biggest story?
We're going national. The opposition leader, Peter Dutton, has told Jacinta Price that she was really useful during the referendum, but us Whitefellas can take it from here.
Yes, it's official. Nearly 4 months after the 2023 Indigenous Voice referendum, and Senator Jacinta Price has expended her political usefulness to the Liberal Party. And that's seen opposition leader Peter Dutton have to fly to Alice Springs to tell her face-to-face. He did this in a mark of respect for all the hard work she did in helping the coalition undermine the generous proposal offered to Australia by leading Indigenous community leaders, and in turn activating a brave army of online bigots who still plague social media with slurs against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to this day.
Yes, and we have the grab here from Dutton.
Sassy J, he did us a real solid during the referendum. Lord knows how he managed to get the media to avoid linking me or Pauline Hanson to the campaign. You and Warren did wonderfully. You really did. But unfortunately, this is where the road ends. Thank you.
All the best to Jacinta. Now moving on to another hard-hitting story. Strava has announced the launch of a new walking home piss from the pub feature. It's very popular.
Yes, in a groundbreaking move to cater to the vast number of Aussies who get the majority of their cardio in on Friday nights, Strava has proudly announced the launch of an exciting new feature. Strava, known for its promotion of a healthy lifestyle and showing your friends how much healthier you are compared to them, has finally acknowledged the fact that many people's steps are being made up on late night walks home. The new feature promises to accurately log the staggering steps, backtracks, and even stops to ask random people if they have a lighter or even a spare cigarette.
As local pub enthusiast and avid walker Jason Brody, 26, told us, "Finally, my nightly trek home on Friday can outcompete my boring mates that go running the next morning. You!"
Much more entertaining than seeing, some corporate guy get up and do 30 Ks on a Saturday
No, it's
morning,
5 Ks
isn't
in 20 minutes. That's the dream you've got to achieve. 5 Ks in 20 minutes. You reckon you could do that, chalk knees?
No way. I don't think I could have ever done that.
That's
4-minute kilometres.
Yeah, that's what these people are striving for, which should be fucking hard when you got stoplights and shit and like pedestrian crossings.
Yeah, you're going to have to go and find an oval, like a big, round kind of parky thing.
An arboretum.
A run. Some sort of a run.
It's a bit of a waste though, because, as everyone knows, a human heart is only born with a certain amount of beats. Mm-hmm. And if you waste them by going for a run around a park, I mean, and people turn around, it's like he died at 55, and people are like, he was so fit. It's like, well,
spoken
he
like
used
a
up
true elderly media professional, Errol.
he used up all of his heartbeats.
Yeah, that's
running around a
mate,
park.
The battery theory is true. That's the battery theory. It is not true. It's not proven, but it is. A lot of people do believe in that. Donald Trump's a believer in the battery theory.
That's why personal trainers and athletes age in dog years.
Fair enough. Use it all up on red wine and cigarettes, long lunches, eh?
Yep.
Get your heart racing over a big steak. Anyway, what's next? Give us some entertainment news, Wendell.
We've got entertainment news right up your alley, Errol Parker. Doja Cat has revealed that she is wondering if the Hottest 100 is another YouTube show featuring spicy food.
Yes, in case you've missed it, controversial American musician the Cat Dog won the Hottest 100 music competition over the weekend, which has left people who claim to be music diehards furious that one of their darling Australian music industry plants didn't win. Wink, wink. It's also left the feline artist herself quite bemused by the whole thing.
That's right, in not so unfamiliar mix-up that highlights the cultural delusion many Australians have about their presence in the minds of Americans, pop star Doja Cat has been left utterly perplexed after receiving news that she has won the prestigious Hottest 100. Which is a countdown of 100 songs that young people like, provided by our taxpayer-funded public broadcaster. As Doja Cat came out to say, is this like that hot wings eating interview show on YouTube? Or the Truth or Dare one with the spicy food? I did so many of those dumb shows during my promo run I can't even keep up, but yeah, thanks.
She was very good on the hot ones where you do the hot sauce there. She also has a notoriously torrid relationship with her fans, and she finished that interview saying, I don't even care about Australia, I've never met Australians, fuck Australians, all those fans can go fuck themselves.
Well, we do have Stockholm Syndrome in Australia. We love people who hate us, like Prince Philip, so that's probably only
Azalea Banks.
Yeah, Azalea Banks. It's only made her fan base stronger here.
And Winston Churchill, he didn't like us.
He fucking sent us out there as cannon fodder.
Well, because are you guys familiar with the jingle from the song that won the Hottest 100, Doja song? It's bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. It's all about her fans getting upset because she just talks heaps of shit about them.
Good on her.
Yeah. Controversial figure. Finishing up with sports news now, and the headline reads like this. Women's tennis's reserve grade says 24-match WAFL superstar Basil Zemplis.
It was a busy weekend for the Western Australian media establishment, who had to frantically rush to protect one of their own. Perth Lord Mayor and former TV presenter Basil Zemplis. after he was caught on a hot mic referring to the Australian Open tennis women's final as, quote, the reserve game.
One of those blokes who's not really noteworthy to anyone east of Kalgoorlie, Basil has already fucked up his pivot to state politics that he was supposed to be announcing for said cameras. The footage of his most recent gaffe was accidentally broadcast by lesser-known Perth online news organisation WAMN News, which is why it saw the light of day without the intervention of Kerry Stokes, Peter Costello, or the Murdoch power brokers who desperately need a new premier who does what they tell him to do.
Yes, and Zemplis has since clarified that it was just not the intended words he was using in some weird kind of convoluted explanation that definitely contradicts the look on his face when he was told the microphones were on. But you have to look at all the footage in a whole context thing to understand.
Shut up, lefties. Let me shut down women's shelters in the middle of the city because rich people are complaining about there being broken glass on the streets. Anyway, that's all from us this week. We probably have reached our quota of Western Australian news stories for the year. Thank you, Basil.
Unless someone like loses nuclear waste or some shit like that again.
Yeah, or, Gina Reinhardt falls down the stairs at the fucking Flemington birdcage. But
Or someone on minimum wage is able to find a rental in Perth.
yes. Yeah, that might make the news. Probably not. Anyway, thank you for listening to the weekly Betoota Bulletin.
Goodbye.
Wagwan.